Om Jnanatamandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmalatam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master was kindly opened my eyes with the shining torchlight of transcendent knowledge. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances to his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
So continuing our reading of Bhagavad Gita from chapter 9 entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge, text number 19. 19 today. Oh, hang on. No, I'm ahead of myself. 17. I moved the page over. Yeah, text 17. So in last week's one we did 16. So from there and going on for 4 or 5 verses, Krishna's talking about how we can perceive God through his different energies. Because as we've said, that unless we're very purified in Krishna consciousness, then we can't see his original spiritual form playing the flute. So, okay, if we can't see God, then what do we do? So actually, Krishna's so kind that he manifests himself in the different energies of the material world. So all we have to do is know how to connect the energies of God with God. And there's no real difference between God, the person, and the energies. And we've talked about different examples. Just like even if you can't see the sun in the sky because of the clouds, if you can perceive the sunlight, which we all can, then like now I'm in a house, I can't see the sun, but I can perceive the sunlight. I'm surrounded by the sunlight, and it's very hot here. It's about 30 degrees, so all that heat. So I know the sun must be there. How do I know the sun must be there even though I can't see the sun? Because I can feel the sunlight and the heat, which are the two effects of the sun, of the light and heat. So I know it's there. So even without seeing the sun. So even though we can't maybe see, Shyam Sundar, Gopal Krishna, then we're perceiving his energies all the time. So last week's one were all in relation to the fire sacrifice. That the ritual of doing a fire sacrifice is Krishna. Whatever we offer into the sacrifice is Krishna. So the ghee that's offered and everything is Krishna. The mantras that the priests, the brahmanas are chanting in the sacrifice, those mantras are also Krishna. And the butter that's used like that. The fire itself is Krishna, like that. So it was specifically talking about those things in relationship to a sacrifice. And that's very, very useful for those that are doing fire sacrifices. And who are doing fire sacrifices? That is particularly the karma yogis. So they engage in different fruitive activities. So in these fire sacrifices, they'll have a particular desire that they want to go to heaven in their next life. Usually that's their goal of these karma yogis, that they want to have a better life in the next life. They want to go up to heaven. So they do these fire sacrifices to please different demigods, Indra and Shiva and Durga and so forth. Like that. But Krishna's saying in here that actually all these different aspects of the fire sacrifice, they are Krishna himself, like that. So yeah, there's different kinds of people. So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is so kind, and in the Vedas in general, is giving something for everybody. It doesn't matter what level are you on. Are you attracted to fruitive activities? Okay, there's something for you. Krishna's giving you something that you like to do, and that you can connect with them through that. And if you're a jnani, like number 15 was for the jnanis, those that are interested in mental speculation, philosophical speculation. So Krishna's giving something for them. And then previously we read for the Bhakti Yogis, in 13 and 14, like that. So there's something for everyone, whatever level you're on, that you can connect with God like that. But the ultimate conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, which is in 1866, as Krishna says, Sarvadharman Prityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So the famous verse, the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, surrender all these different things. So give up your karma and your jnana and your hatha yoga, stanga yoga, all your processes. Just give it up and just surrender. So that's what Krishna wants us to do. Krishna wants us to just surrender and do what he wants, to just please him. And the example of a surrendered soul, the best example of a surrendered soul, who's that? Who's the best example of a group of devotees that are just completely surrendered to Krishna, whatever he wants?
Gopis.
Jayanti said the gopis. That's correct.
Yep.
So we'll give her an extra sweet today for getting that right. Bhakti Mala can send over one of her muffins.
Yay.
One of her laddus. Like that. So, yeah, completely surrendered Krishna. Just do whatever he wants. So that's the ultimate. But, God knows, practically that not everyone's prepared just to surrender. So we're attached to different things. So Krishna's giving us some insight earlier on in the Bhagavad Gita, how to attract us, to Krishna at whatever level we're at. Whatever level we're at. Does anyone want to say anything about that? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So ultimately the Bhagavad Gita is about bhakti. And a lot of people don't understand that because they see these sections like this talking about karma and jnana and yoga and so forth. But Krishna's just giving us the broad picture in the beginning that includes, everyone, wherever they're at, whatever level of consciousness they're at. But ultimately Krishna reveals his heart, what's in his heart, what he wants. He just wants a loving relationship with the souls. He wants a loving relationship with the souls. That's what he wants. And that's what we all want in our hearts, isn't it? We all want loving relationships. And of course, ultimately, those loving relationships often get frustrated in the material world in the form of, marriages between humans and then, relationships with animals and like that. We've talked about Gulshan's old neighbor. What's her name again? That lady next door to where you were on Vine Street.
Yeah, Lita.
Lisa.
Lita.
Lita, yeah, Lita.
You know the funny
She's
thing
from Philippines. I think she was from Philippines, right?
You know the funny thing is, my car had a flat battery. I was near the guy, not my car actually, the guy who put in the solar panel on my car. And then we tried to put it there, a jump lead from my car. Then the guy walked in. He said, "Oh, what happened to your car?" I said, "Oh, it's got a flat battery. He left the light on." And we tried to. He said, "Oh, that's very dangerous. And I've got the charger I bring from my home and charge your car, and they're gonna get stuck." I said, "Okay, thank you." And he come back after a few minutes. He put in there. He looked like Indian. And then I said, "Do you live in the same street?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What number you live in the Vine Street?" He said, "Number 43.
Okay.
He said, "I just moved in the front of the house there." I said,
That's
"I used to live in there. I lived there 6-7 years." He said, "Really?" And I asked him, like, "Okay, what's your name?" He said, "Gulshan."
Oh, you
No way.
did.
Yes.
No way.
Yes. His name is Gulshan.
Wow.
And I just,
Krishna's having a joke with you,
yeah,
Gulshan.
and like, how come he walked to the side street? I parked the car on the side street, not on the Vine Street, just on the side, front of the Gale. There's a little side street goes there. I parked my van, and then there's an old man. He just come to put the roof panel, the solar panel on the roof. So he was doing the few things in there, and his car battery got flat. And then that guy was walking in there and coming there. Really? How did things happen? And I said, really? He said, "Yeah, my name is Gulshan." I was just so surprised there. And he's Indian. Can you believe that?
That's called synchronicity.
Yeah.
It just,
There's a
but
word
he's,
for that,
he's
synchronicity. These
yeah,
things that happen to us that are just too far out to be by
it's
chance.
out of my reach. I just thinking, how this thing, he out of blues, he come in there to help, and then
Yeah.
his English was telling that he's Indian, and then guy who was doing he's an Aussie. He said, yeah, he's Indian too, look like it. And I said, yeah, and I asked him, what's your name? He's a Gulshan. He said, oh my God, seriously. And then
That's spooky.
and then you know what happened there? I still didn't believe. Is it really Gulshan? That same day, the lady at the back called me. He said, "I've got one of your letter. Has got a card in there." And I said, "I already changed the address in banks and all that. I don't know, maybe some greeting card or something." I said, "Okay, I'll come tomorrow." So I went there today to see what card is it. But there was a bank card in there, and I changed all the bank addresses there. It comes in the Gales there, and then I checked it. A name, it was a Gulshan, but was not me, because last name is the Gulshan Singh. I said, "This is a guy."
Oh, okay.
She said, "You're the Gulshan." I thought it's yours. I said, "No, it's not mine." Then I realized his name is Gulshan.
No.
Very, very strange. And she called me
Wow.
and he said, "Oh, well, things happen, but yeah, all good." My card came in the Gail's address. She bring the mail yesterday on Wednesday. So she said, "You got a card in the mail?" I said, "Okay." So same thing, bank card, and he's got a bank card too in the mail. I checked the bank card. His name is Gulshan as well.
There's too many Gulshans. Soon the whole world will be
Like,
Gulshans.
but
And
how
then we
come it'll
won't.
be same to my address, the same my place, and oh my God. Anyway, it's something is out of the
So
reach.
anyway, this Lita, right? Her dog died. She tried to love her dog, and well, first of all, the husband died, and then to replace that,
The dog and dog
then she
died.
got a dog, and then the dog died, and then she's completely shattered, and she couldn't function. And I said, "Come on, you're a Catholic. You should just focus your love on God, and you'll never get disappointed or frustrated in your relationship with God, like what you do with your husband and your dog and so forth, because we're all temporary, right? We're all temporary." And so that's ultimately where we need to focus our attention on. Of course, it doesn't mean we can't have partners and dogs and so forth, pets, but you don't invest your whole heart and soul into anything in the material world, because it's all temporary and it's just going to cause a lot of suffering and frustration.
And when I was leaving there, and she was a bit concerned that she said, "Oh, I wonder who's tenant gonna come in there." I said, "Look, we all tenant. I go, somebody else will come." Before that, Abe was there. Now I'm here. I'm leaving. Somebody else. She said, "I wish if there is an Indian," and the Indian came in. Indian living at the moment.
Krishna must have heard her desire,
Yeah,
and she
yeah,
liked you so much, Gulshan, that the
Oh
next
yeah,
one
because I
also.
was helping time to time. If she need anything, she called and I helped. But yeah, it's very good. How the Krishna does all these things, we out of the reach. We cannot think.
And Krishna arranges these things which are so out of this world, inconceivable, that they happen like that, just to increase our faith also, isn't it? Because when you hear about things like this, you think, wow, what's the chances of that happening? So we realize that there is a God, like these verses are showing us, that all these things we can connect with God. So also these things that happen to us, which are really out there, we can realize there is someone in control. There is someone behind all these different arrangements that's, coordinating these things, very intelligently like that. It's impossible that these things are happening by chance. So there's many things like that. Just when I got bitten by a dog, right? I've told this before. And within 2 minutes, my friend comes and picks me up, takes me to the hospital. So, and I asked him, "Why did you come?" Because he wasn't supposed to come for another hour. And he said, a voice in his heart said, "A buy's in trouble, go find a buy." So
Really?
then he came. And so we can realize that God is there. So many times things happen like that. And we can realize that God is there. We can't see him. Of course we can see the deity, but I mean, Krishna's not there standing in front of us playing a flute. But we can tell he's there by so many of these amazing things happen to us in our lives that we will experience.
Yeah.
And we can tell he's there. And today I had some homegrown peaches, and they were so good. And I was thinking, oh, Krishna's must be there, because how come it just tastes so good? You know, I mean, Krishna has put the flavor in these
Yes.
peaches,
Yeah.
you know, and he's packaged this juice inside this bag, which is the skin. So he's arranged that, you know, you've got this little bag with full of this tasty juice. And then we had plums as well and grapes and stuff. And they've all got this little bag with these different flavored juices in them. It's just amazing how nature has packaged all these amazing flavors in this little packet, this little organic packet, and which we call skin. And but just so many flavors, and they're all so good for the health and so tasty. And you know, and we taste them and think this is so good. You know, thank you, Krishna. So we should always thank Krishna when we have these experiences in life. Be grateful that Krishna is giving us all these things, you know, like that. It's very special. And although these things are all temporary, even relationships with other people and animals and so forth.
Like a,
But
yeah, it's like I was driving an Uber, and I was on the rooftop on the Westfield Katara, and when I was looking at the exit there, a quick exit from there, and then same time I was just thinking that I better turn the air conditioner on. It's just a bit warm, and I was looking at the air condition, and the guy sitting in front of me, he said stop, and I stopped that car all of a sudden, and there was a pole right in front of my, in between, like right in front of my eyes. The pole, big pole was there. I was into the pole, straight into the pole. He said, where are you going? And the pole was like, you know, an inch from my guard, from my bumper, from my bonnet, just an inch. And
yeah.
like this. And that guy said, I was thinking to sit in the back. I said, why did he sit in the front? His girlfriend in the back. And the girlfriend said, why did he sit in the back? He said, I don't know, I sit in the front. Usually he sit with the girlfriend in the back. And then why he was sitting in the front, I don't know. And then he all of a sudden just stopped. And I stopped it. There was a 1 inch from my bonnet. There was a pole, big pole there. If you won't say that.
So why you didn't see that? Because you're looking at the air conditioning.
Yes. I was looking at the air conditioner, turned the air conditioner on. And just like a matter of seconds. And I was just right in front of the pole. And he just stopped. And I just quickly stopped it. Just an inch from my bonnet. For that big pole. Otherwise, I'll be hidden there. And I said, look, you know, your girlfriend saying, why are you sitting in the back? And he said, I don't know. I just feel like sitting in the front. I don't know why he was sitting in the front. He said, I don't know either. He was sitting in the front because Krishna told him to sit down because it's about to happening something. You have to alert him.
He knew that Gulshan was going to stuff up in a few minutes.
Yeah, that's right. His girlfriend said, always he sit in the back with me. I don't know why he sit in the front. Did I?
Yeah.
Because?
Wow, that's amazing. So that's great you mentioned things like that, because there's things like that. But often what happens is we don't remember them, that they happened. You know, we forget that so many inconceivable, extraordinary things happen in our life. But if we could just try to reflect on these things that happen, take it deeply. Because, you know, we might take it very superficially and not even think about it. But actually, if you think about it more deeply, we call that reflecting. So we should reflect on these different things and realize that actually Krishna saved me, you know. Krishna's helping me out with something or saved me from something or like that. You know, it's all Krishna's mercy. So, yeah, we want to think deeply, and that's what we call Krishna consciousness. So that's Krishna consciousness, where we're, you know, deeply thinking about Krishna, connecting everything that happens to us in our life, connected with Krishna. And, you know, and that's Krishna conscious. So when you go out to drive Uber, you're Krishna conscious, you know, and when you're eating fruit, you're Krishna conscious. And when you go for a walk at the beach or in the park, you're Krishna conscious. When you're talking to someone, you're Krishna conscious, like that. So we want to, you know, go more deeply into every single little circumstance that happens in our life. Because we tend to be just too shallow, too superficial in our thinking. That's the problem, you know. And Prabhupada summarized our whole culture as simple living, high thinking. You know, so that's where we want to have higher thinking, which is the highest thinking is Krishna consciousness. You know, and what helps that higher thinking, Krishna consciousness thinking, is if we live a simple life, then you have more time to think more deeply. The problem is in modern society, people are just running around like mad. They don't have time to think. You know, they're just, oh, I got to pay the bills, I got to buy this and spend this and make this, and you know, there's just no time to even think. But if we just slow down a bit, then we have time
That's
to think.
why a lot of fast food
properly.
shop there, take away, fast food, everything fast food. It's a McDonald's. You go there within 1 minute drive through, you'll get your drink or your food or something like that. So fast food, everything fast. They don't like. I notice sometimes people come in the bhakti tree, they're too busy on the phone and they shovel that food in the mouth, and too busy on the phone. Just look on the phone. I said, can't you put aside for 10 minutes? Food is the very important thing. But no, all they're just like so much. Like sometimes 3 people come there, all 3 on the phone. The food plates was there, all in front of them.
Wow.
All they're on the phone, copying that. What's the point of coming together? You're coming together, put the phone aside and have a conversation, have a meal. But I've seen them.
There's so many problems in modern day society, and Prabhupada would summarize the solution for all of them. And then he said the cause of all these problems is we have a godless civilization, a godless society. So what's the solution? All of our problems are basically coming out because we've gone away from God. So what's the solution then? To come back to God. And like what did Prabhupada title his magazine? Back to Godhead. So we need to come back to God, back to God, back to Krishna.
I wish
then all of our
Prabhupada
problems
would be here. I wish if Prabhupada would be here these days, what would he say about the mobile phone? I wish what his opinion about that mobile phone. Is that like?
Well, I mean, he would say like with everything that you can use it in Krishna's service, but don't be attached to it, and because of the phone, don't forget Krishna. Don't be so absorbed in the phone that you forget Krishna. But you can use the phone to serve Krishna, but don't become so absorbed in it that you forget your real purpose in life, which is to reawaken your love for Krishna. So that's when it becomes harmful. Material things on themselves don't hurt us, unless we let them by, becoming so absorbed in them that we forget Krishna. But if you use them, like that's the main way we spread the knowledge about what we're doing here is through Facebook, which I do through my phone. Is I like at the moment I'm daily putting up posts about growing different things, and mainly that's how I do it is through the phone, so it can be very useful. But if I spent 12 hours of the day just surfing the internet, social media and like that, then nothing will get done. I won't do any work in the garden. I won't have time to chant my rounds or whatever like that. Then it becomes bad. I mean, one time devotees were on a morning walk with Prabhupada, and one devotee said, such and such disciple, he started working in a factory. And Prabhupada didn't say anything. He kept walking. Then the devotee continues saying that after he gets back from the factory, he's so tired that he's not able to finish chanting his 16 rounds. Prabhupada's walking very fast and he suddenly stopped. So suddenly that the devotees behind him nearly crashed into him because he just went from walking very fast to suddenly stopping. And he put his cane in the ground and said, what? He's not chanting his 16 rounds? He's an animal. And all the devotees went, oh. Prabhupada just called his disciple an animal. Because Prabhupada can foresee that. Why did he say that? I would say why he said that is from understanding of the scriptures is that if we're Krishna conscious, we go upwards, right? Minimum, you're going to go to heaven in your next life. Maximum, you're going to go back to Godhead, right? And if you're not Krishna conscious, then what other consciousness is there? Is animal consciousness. You understand that? It's either Krishna consciousness or animal consciousness. What's animal consciousness? Eating. You're thinking about eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. There's only those 4 things plus Krishna consciousness. There's no other consciousness. You understand that? 4 needs of the body, right? It needs to eat something, sleep, some companionship, and some protection. And the only other thing there on top of that is Krishna consciousness. So if there's no Krishna consciousness, then it's just animal consciousness. And if you have animal consciousness, what kind of body are you going to get in your next life?
Animal.
Animal body, right? What changes our consciousness from animal consciousness to Krishna consciousness? What is the main thing that can lift up the consciousness from animal consciousness to Krishna consciousness?
Chanting.
Jayanti said chanting. Yeah. So it's chanting Hare Krishna. So if you stop chanting Hare Krishna, then you'll most likely fall back down from Krishna consciousness to animal consciousness. Then in due course of time, the body will die, whenever it is, and then according to your karma, and then you'll take birth as an animal. So Prabhupada can see that if you stop chanting your 16 rounds, it's back to eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, animal consciousness, animal body, and that's a disaster.
I have a question.
Jayanti has a question.
So, being in Krishna consciousness is being in Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. However, one is not in pure goodness all the time.
Correct.
Okay, so they might be in different modes, depending upon whatever.
Yeah.
So how does that fit in with this situation where you're saying? So like for instance, what is that Urdhvam Gachanti?
Yeah, if you're in the mode of goodness, you go to heaven. If you're in the mode of passion, you come back to earth. And if you're in the mode of ignorance, you go down to animal life. Yeah. Anyway, say quickly, because we have to keep the show on the road.
Yeah, because, no, I'm just concerned, going by what you were saying right now, there's only animal consciousness or Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
But that's not fully correct. Because there is other consciousness in between.
Yeah, but even in the heavenly planets, those things are going on. Doesn't matter where it's lower, middle, or higher. It's eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. The only thing different than that is you have a spiritual kind of awareness, which the ultimate spiritual awareness is Krishna consciousness. All good? Okay. Okay, let's read this verse. Let's read this verse, text 17. Yeah, so just summarizing what I just said, Prabhupada didn't have any complaint about the devotee working in a factory. So you could give a same comparison to a mobile phone, right? Whatever it is, a material thing, right? So Prabhupada didn't say anything, no comment. But okay, you're using that material thing, like working in a factory or having a phone, and you stop chanting. Then that's a problem. That's a problem. But the thing in itself, the phone or the car or the house or the relationships or whatever, is not a problem as long as chanting is there. But the main thing is chanting has to be there. But because of the stupid phone, if you stop chanting, then that's dumb. Because of the stupid working in a factory, you stop chanting, that's dumb. But if you can do your chanting, you can do anything else you want. Doesn't matter as long as you chant. So after you chant, then you can do anything you want like that. Well, I mostly have a rule for myself that I don't use the phone until I finish chanting 16 rounds. So I don't look at the phone until I do that. I pretty much don't do anything else until I've chanted 16 rounds like that. So I get up and I chant 16 rounds. And different devotees do it differently, whatever works. But somehow or other, we have to, chant our 16 rounds. And then do whatever you like. Like for me, I do gardening. Someone will do, a restaurant. Someone else will be doing, cleaning or whatever. It doesn't matter. But you have to chant 16 rounds. That's the main thing. That will keep us Krishna conscious, which is so essential. Okay, let's read the verse. Pitaham masya jagato
Pitaham matsya jagato
mata data pitamaha
mata dhata pitamaha
vedyam pavitram omkara
Vedam pavitram onkara
riksama yajurevacha.
Riksamaya Yajurevacha. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and salable Om. I am also that Rig, the Sama, and Yajurveda.
Mm.
Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda. I am the Krishna is the one. He is the He is the Father. He is
Yeah.
everything.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So the father, who is the father? The father's the one that puts the seed into the mother, the soul. The soul is put into the mother's womb from the father, through the semina, like that. And it's impossible for a child to come without a father. Not possible. This mother alone cannot
There
produce
is
children.
a little
Must be
story I
father.
want to share with you. I was
Yeah.
driving an Uber. There is one midwife sitting in my
Mm.
Uber, and we're just talking general, She said, "I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual." I said, "Okay." And just talking about that, this, and she's seen this one. I said, "This the Hare Krishna." I say, "Yeah, I know." Sometimes change. Anyway, makes a long story short. She said, when they conceive the baby, and it doesn't happen for 6 weeks. In 6 weeks, there is some electrical happen, and then heartbeat start. Why? As science doesn't know. A 6 week time when they're pregnant doesn't happen until 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, one day, all of a sudden, it's just like an electric shock, and then heartbeat starts. And from that day, heartbeats all the way to the baby born and then grown and died. He said, what happened in 6 weeks? We don't know. Science doesn't know what happened this 6 weeks. 6 weeks, nothing. All of a sudden, it's just the
No,
electric shock
I wouldn't
happened.
say nothing, but yeah,
I mean,
she
something, but
could be right that the heartbeat starts at 6 weeks, but that doesn't mean
yeah.
nothing happens till six
He said,
weeks because
why 6
in
week
those
time like
first 6 weeks, there's a development taking place when the female and the male energy is meeting, and then it slowly grows and develops and things like that. But like you say, it could be true that at 6 weeks then the heart
he says,
starts.
where did that come from? Like
Yeah.
a little electrical current
Okay.
comes there,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
heartbeat start. He said, where that come from? I said, well, this is the mystery. That's the Krishna. But she wasn't Krishna conscious, so I said, well, this is the God. He's the one enter in that, and the heartbeat start. He said that we just no science and all the thinking that what happened for 6 weeks, all of a sudden some shock does, and the people start, the kids start to have a beating heart. So wow, it's just we never gonna understand how the Krishna enters in the body in 6 week time, how and which there, but a woman has got no control over, and all of a sudden she says she got like little shock, like this kind of little electric current.
But I would like to say that the soul is there from day one, right?
Day
The
one.
soul is because
But the
no
consciousness comes in 6 week time.
matter can grow without the presence of the soul. Do you understand that? So without the presence of the soul, nothing can grow. Like that little tree starts growing, or the fish grows, or the bird grows, or so anything that grows, there has to be a soul in there. But at a certain point, like what you say would be true, that at a certain point that heart within the body will start beating like that.
That's right.
But the soul is already there. And then,
so
Krishna at that point, the heart will start working due to Krishna's mercy, like
that's
that.
right.
Yeah.
Where that come from? She said, "Oh, we don't know."
Yeah, so even the greatest scientist doesn't know that, but we know that.
No.
I mean, the first day
Of
you
course.
join the Hare Krishna movement, you know why the heart is starting, like that.
Of course, yeah.
So we know from the first day we join the Hare Krishna movement more than what the greatest scientist knows, like that. They still don't know, what we know right from the beginning. And that this is the real education. Like the second verse of this chapter says, the second verse of this chapter says, Raja Vidya Raja Guyam, that this is the king of education, the king of education. This education is the top education. Like what we're learning, we know why that heart starts beating at 6 weeks. It's Krishna, like that, is giving the energy there to make the heart beat. So we know more than what the nurse knows, what the scientist knows in the science books and everything, more than what they know, just from being Krishna conscious. And so yeah, just like you have, you can't have the child come just from the mother. You have to have the father. It's putting the life there. It's coming from the father. So Krishna is the father of the universe. So all the life in the universe, from the top planet to the bottom planet, all that life, the source or the father of all that life is Krishna. And we can look in the 14th chapter, text 4.
Which one? 14?
14th chapter, text 4. Whoever gets there first can read that.
It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in the material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father.
Yeah. So that's what father means, is giving the seed. So the seed of the life is the soul. That is the seed. The seed. Like what's the origin of the plant is the seed. So what's the origin of the living entity? That's the soul. So the from the father is putting the soul there into the material nature, into the mother.
And what's the origin of the seed? Come from fruit, from the tree.
Yeah, so I mean, the soul we know from another verse is part and parcel of Krishna. The soul's part and parcel of Krishna. So that's where's that one? 15, is it? Yeah, 15:7. 15:7.
The living energy in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental part due to conditions life. They are struggling very hard with the sixth sense, which include the mind.
So the soul is eternally Sanatana, a part of Krishna, Amsha. Amsha. Mama means me, my part, my Amsha, my part, the living entity. So, and then we've come into this material world because of rebelling against our natural service attitude and wanting to take Krishna's position. And then how we are put into different, how we are put into this material world. Krishna is by, we talked about it before, when Mahavishnu just glances over the female material energy. Energy is always female, which is called Prakriti. So, and Krishna is the male, Purusha. So when the male Purusha, when he glances over the Prakriti, the material energy, then he's injecting the souls, which are part and parcel of him, into the material world. So we get injected, just like the man is injecting the, soul through the semen into the woman. So the Vishnu is injecting through his eyes the souls into the material world, which is female energy. Like in this verse 14:4 that we just looked at, the third line, Tasam Brahma Mahadyonir. So that is the material energy, Mahadyonir, source of birth and the material substance. So there's two things. You've got the soul and the material substance. So in the material world, there's only those two things there. You've got matter and spirit. So spirit, that's the soul, and that's injected into the matter, which is prakriti or material nature, right? We say in the West, we say Mother Nature, right? Everyone says Mother Nature this, Mother Nature, Mother Nature, Mother Nature. Okay, yeah, we talk about Mother Nature, but no one talks about the Father. But the thing is, you can't have just a mother by herself. Wherever there's a mother, there must be a father, you know. Because what does mother mean? You're not just saying woman nature, isn't it? Woman nature, you say mother. What does mother mean? Mother means a woman that has had children, right? Like not every woman is a mother. You understand that? Not every woman is a mother. But every mother is a woman. Not every woman is a mother, but every mother is a woman. So, but for a woman to become a mother, then it has to be the father. It has to be a father. Woman cannot be a mother unless there's a father in the picture.
Yeah, that's why all the religion has got, like, Jesus, Son of God, Muhammad, Allah, they all father. In that every religion, it says, it doesn't start any religion with the mother. Start from father.
Yeah, it starts from the father, but mother is also necessary.
Yeah.
So we're not saying the mother is not important, but definitely has to be a father. Has to be a father, and then the soul is put into the mother, and then the mother produces the body. So what is the mother is producing the body of the living entity, but the father is giving the soul. The father is giving the soul, and it's put into that body, but the mother is producing the body, right? And then the soul is put into that body from the father, like that. So this whole material nature, which is unlimited, vast, we look in the sky at night, we're seeing a bit of it. It's made of earth, water, fire, air, and space, these 5 elements. And Krishna is putting the souls into that material energy. And then life is coming. Then life is manifesting. Due to that combination of spirit and matter, you get life in the material world. Without that spirit and matter coming together, you're not going to get any life. Definitely with matter by itself, you're not going to get any life. Materialistic scientists, their theory is that life comes from matter. Prabhupada gave so many talks about that. That's a load of rubbish. Life does not come from matter. Like we have a small book that Prabhupada inspired his first scientific disciple named Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, who had a PhD in science. He was a biologist or something, a young biology PhD. And Prabhupada was very pleased by his scientist disciple because he wanted him to present Krishna consciousness very scientifically, which would appeal to the scientific community like that. And he got Prabhupada inspired him to write a first little book called Life Comes from Life, not from matter. Life comes from life. So from spirit. So like that.
Can I just ask, Ape, when we talk about the mother, because isn't it that there's 9 different types of mothers?
7.
7.
7,
and one of them's the cow.
Yep.
And it doesn't say that she's got to have calf to be mother. It just says the cow. And then one of them's like the wife of a brahmana or something like that. It doesn't say she's got to have children to be called the mother. I don't know. I'm just confused.
That's very good. That's very good. I'm very glad that you raised that point. It's a very good question.
Similarly, the queen also, she doesn't.
The queen, although most likely they will. Yeah. But actually, it's a good point. And
they would, but yeah.
So the answer to the question is, it's not just about producing a physical child, but it's about a mood. So we'd say a motherly mood.
Yeah.
What is a motherly mood? What is that? What do you think a motherly, what would you say the mood of a mother is? What is the attitude or the mood, the behavior of a mother? How would you what's
like
that?
To nurture.
Yeah, nurturing. Okay, that's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, nurturing. Anything else? How would you think about your mum, Gulshan?
Looking after me.
Yeah,
And
looking after, so maintaining. Yep,
Yeah.
maintaining, nurturing, maintaining.
Yeah.
I'd say, you know, like affection.
Affection.
You know, very caring, nourishing, right? Just like how the mother gives breast milk to the child. So also that, you know, like a woman with a motherly mood that could also be regarded as a mother will be like, for example, feeding people. So she might not have her own children, but if she's feeding people, that's the motherly mood coming through. So that's the motherly mood. If the woman is just thinking about herself, never anyone else, then she doesn't have a motherly mood.
It's
like that. So what can bring that motherly mood out of the woman is having a child, because that like forcibly makes you think about someone other than yourself, which is actually very good for the woman to have a child for that reason. It forces you a little bit out of your selfish bubble to think about someone outside of yourself, which is good, you know, and that's helping that woman become more mature, you know, and the right sort of qualities are going to get developed. But there are other ways of getting that mood to come out. Like, you know, like if you're feeding people like that, that's a motherly mood. That's what mums do, you know, feeding the kids, right? So that's the way we felt, Giant and I, when we went out to Newcastle University, when we started the Bhakti Tree. That's actually how we raised the funds to get the Bhakti Tree to what we had to do was get the funds to build that kitchen, that commercial kitchen, because it was just it was actually an old furniture store, a very rundown old furniture store. So I think it cost, you know, it cost over $100,000 to build that commercial kitchen, and then it costs another whatever to renovate it. And Wayne did a lot of the work. He spent about a year, you know, fixing the holes in the roof, painting it and everything. I don't know how he did that. My arms and neck would break off if I tried to do what Wayne did. You know, he was always looking up at the ceiling. I try to do that for like 10 minutes and my neck gets sore. I don't know how he did it. And he's got a spiritual neck and a spiritual arms. You know, Krishna gave him to be able to do that. And you know, how we raised the money was mainly through going to university 3 times a week, and then I think it went up to 4 times a week. And then it started off when we first started, like about 30, 40 people was all there was coming when we first started. And slowly it went up to 50 people, then 80 people, 100, 120, 150, 200, 250, 300. So like when we'd finished, I think it was over 300 people we would get some days like that. And through that, and we really felt like that motherly mood of like, these are all our kids coming. We're going to feed all our kids. We got 300 kids, you know, so we're even more of a mother, because a normal mother's feeding 1 or 2 kids and we're feeding 300 kids. So we're like super mums. And just that, it was so nice, you know, just nourishing them and feeding them. And they loved us. They loved us because we fed them, and we loved them. And that's why we fed them. We fed them because we loved them, and because we fed them, they loved us, you know. So it was such a loving exchange. Actually, it said there's 6 kinds of loving exchanges in the Nectar of Instruction. Dadati Pradigranati, Bhukte Bojayate Chaiva, and then Guyam Akiti Prichati, and then Sadvidim Pritilakshanam. So to give a gift, to accept a gift, receive a gift. That's 2. Giving and receiving gifts. To reveal your mind confidentially. Reveal your mind to someone. Hey, Prabhu, I've got this problem. What do you think about this? Can you help? Any ideas like that? And someone's hearing that. So someone's someone's revealing their mind, and someone's opening their mind to them, opening their mind to them, and then trying to, help them and explaining, how to solve that problem or whatever. And then giving food and and accepting food from someone. These are 6 ways that we, develop our affection, our love, between each other, like that. And Prabhupada says in the purport to that verse in Nectar Instruction, that's the basis of ISKCON, is to create a facility for these 6 loving exchanges to take place, like that. And look at Friday night, what it was at the Bhakti Tree. It's all that was is one big loving exchange. One big loving exchange, giving food, receiving food, and giving. What charity did we give? We did. You know what it was? We gave the best charity. I'll give you the clue. We gave the best charity on a Friday night, the ultimate charity, and people accepted it.
Holy name.
Holy name. It's the ultimate charity. It's the best gift, because you get eternal life from that gift. You can give someone a little gift and it makes them happy for a few minutes. But if you give the gift of the holy name, you're going to make someone happy forever. Forever. You're going to solve their problems forever. You give them food, you'll solve their hunger problem for a few hours, and then they'll get hungry again. But you give them the gift of the holy name, and you can satisfy their spiritual appetite for divine love and reunite them with Krishna, like that, and then all their problems are solved, like that. And people would do that over dinner. They would reveal their mind, isn't it? So there are people who just talk so many things, about what's going on for them and different things. We learned so much from other people like that. And Gail would reveal her mind to me sometimes after the chanting. Well, when Jayanti was chanting, I went somewhere. She revealed her mind. Don't tell anyone. I saw some things that were out of this world. So it was like that, Don't tell anyone because it was confidential, But yeah, it's very sweet, very sweet. Yeah, so this is what it means. So good question, Bhakti Mali. So not that it has to be, a woman has to produce a physical child to be a mother, but you must have that mood, Must have that mood of a mother. All that comes with being a mother. Very selfless service, just like the mother is selflessly serving the child. Doesn't get time to sleep properly, doesn't get time to eat properly, doesn't even get time to go to the toilet properly, is always running around after the kid. So like that, just developing that. Like the early, almost all the Prabhupada's female disciples, they were like that, all mothers, fully devoted to helping humanity and to serving, Krishna, and serving humanity, incredible. One time they were on a morning walk, and the sannyasis and brahmacharis, all men that were on the morning walk, no women were on the morning walk because all the women were busy doing all the service back at the temple. And all the men were just enjoying with Prabhupada, and then they were criticizing the women like anything. Oh, the women are disturbing our minds in the temple, and we shouldn't allow the women in the temple. Some men actually said like that. Women should not be allowed in the temple. They're disturbing our minds of the brahmacharis and sannyasis, and like that. And they were always just complaining. And then they came back to the temple. Prabhupada didn't say anything the whole morning walk. He was completely quiet, and just tolerating all their nonsense criticism. And then what he really thought was revealed when he got back, because when they got back, then the door opened and there were women there throwing flowers over Prabhupada. There were women there. One woman offered a garland around his neck that she'd made the flowers for. And then there were women like cleaning the temple room floor, women doing the arati on the altar, women, cleaning the altar, women cooking the feast, cooking all the prasadam, everything like that. And so they'd been complaining about the women and like that, they're this and that. And Prabhupada turned around to the men at that point after he opened the door, and there's all these women there doing all the service. And he turned around and he said, But if you associate with these women, you will go back home, back to Godhead. And the women were in ecstasy, and the men were all, bewildered. It's different.
Were not bewildered, they were brought down to earth.
Brought down to earth, Jaunty said. Brought down to earth, yeah. So when the scriptures criticize women like that, that's a materialistic woman. But you can't compare a materialistic, selfish woman to a devotee woman that's, selflessly serving Krishna and the devotees and the public and everything like that. So it's very different. And I heard a lecture the other day. It was very interesting. Prabhupada said, woman doesn't just mean woman as in the body of a woman. Woman means the other sex. So he said, from a man's point of view, the woman is woman. But from the woman's point of view, the man is woman. And Prabhupada said this woman, which he gave the word for it, which means yoshitam. Yoshitam means enjoyable thing, enjoyable object. So for the man, the woman is the enjoyable object. But for the woman, the man is the enjoyable object. So Yosita can be anything. Like if your enjoyable object is your mobile phone, then that's woman. That's Yosita. Like that. So if money is your enjoyable object, then that's Yoshitam. So and any time we have that, we make anything in the material world at the source of our enjoyment, then that is Maya. Then that is Maya. So not only the physical woman is Maya, but any time we try to, gratify our senses from something in the material world, that is the Maya, like that. So not only woman is Maya, but it may be, but there can be anything can be Maya if your attitude towards it is wrong. One time Prabhupada got my Guru Maharaj and another brahmachari to sit down in the room. They were wondering why he called them. He got them, two brahmacharis, to sit down. And he said that when you see a woman, you can think one of two ways. You have two choices. He said you can think that, this woman has come, let me enjoy her. Or you can think that Krishna has sent this woman for me to engage her in Krishna's service. Let me help her. Those two options you have. There's no other option. No other option. So how to engage this material thing in service of Krishna, or how can I exploit for my sense gratification? So the two options are, it's either how can I enjoy the thing for my sense gratification, which we call kam or lust. The Sanskrit for lust is kama. K-A-M-A, but long, first A is a long one. And then the second option is to use that material thing in Krishna's service, and that's prema, that's love. To use something in Krishna's service, that's love, prema. And to use that in our service, that's karma, that's lust, like that. So, and those choices we always have. We have that free choice. Okay, back to our verse for the day. Yeah, so very good question you brought up about mother. What is mother? Yeah, so, yeah, doesn't have to have physical children, but that motherly mood, that's essential. So Krishna is the father of the whole universe, that all the living entities, he's the father. He's put them all in this material mother nature. And then this might be confusing. Okay, we've just saying here, Krishna's saying that he's the father. But then in the very next word, he says, I'm the mother. Hang on, how can he be the father and the mother? That's like confusing. Like that. Is Krishna bisexual or something? So what that means is, so Krishna's the father in that he injects the souls into the material world. So how is he the mother? In what sense? You know the Vishvarupa, right? The universal form. So actually one of Krishna's manifestations is the whole universe. And So Krishna is the whole universe, right? It's that Vishvarupa. He expands his energy into the whole universe is Krishna. And he shows that in the 11th chapter. That unlimited planets and unlimited demigods, and they're all within Krishna. And we know that pastime right from Krishna book, where Balaram and the coward boys complain to Mother Yashoda, Krishna's been very naughty, he's been very naughty, he's been eating dirt, like that. So Mother Yashoda went to Krishna and said, I've heard some complaints that you've been eating dirt. Is this true? And Krishna said, no, my friends have just conspired together to tell lies to you just to get me in trouble. And he said, if you don't believe me, look in my mouth. So she said, okay, open wide. So she looked in his mouth, and what did she see? The whole universe was inside Krishna's mouth. Not only the universe was inside Krishna's mouth, but she saw herself looking into Krishna's mouth inside of Krishna's mouth.
Wow.
Does that just blow every single brain cell in your head? And then her mind just went into overload. And then she started to think, is Krishna something more than just my child? Is he some god or something? And Krishna wasn't happy that she started to think that he's more than just a child. So Krishna's Yoga Maya just covered that thought over, and she went back to think, oh, Krishna, don't be naughty again. Don't eat any more dirt. But so yeah, everything's inside Krishna. So in that sense, Krishna's the mother also. Just like the child is in the womb of the mother, right? That's what mother means, right? So the child's inside the mother. So we're all inside of Krishna. And that way, Krishna's our mother. You get that? But that's why Krishna's our mother. Because everything and everyone is inside of Krishna. Just like the child is inside the womb of the mother. And Krishna's the father because he injects the souls into the material nature, the mother nature. So in that way, he's the father. He's the source of the living entities. But he's also the living entities are inside of him. And that way, he's the mother. So he's both. He's mother and father. And Krishna says, Data, the support. He's the support. Yeah, he's the support. So he's supporting everyone. Just like you have, what do you call that? Social welfare, right? So what do they call that in Australia? In New Zealand, they call it Centrelink. Yeah, like you have. So Krishna's the universal Centrelink. He's just like the government is supporting us with some money if we lost our job or whatever. So if we're not well, but yeah, Krishna's supporting everyone. Krishna's supporting everyone, and he gives us the food that we eat, the water that we drink, the air that we breathe, the sunlight that we need, all the things that we need. Where did they come from? They all come from Krishna. So Krishna's supporting us. If, like Gulshan was saying, at 6 weeks, the heart turns on. So if Krishna wasn't there, there would be no heart turning on. Then where's your life? Where's your life without your heart? And when Krishna turns your heart off, what do we call that? What do we call it when Krishna turns your heart? That's called a heart attack. Like, what's a heart attack? As Krishna's turning your heart off. So Krishna's definitely he's our life support system. He's every support system. And so we need him, for everything. Everything. He's our mother. He's our father. He's our maintainer. He's everything. I mean, how can you live without a mother? You can't live. How can you live without a father? You can't live. How can you live without someone maintaining you? You can't live. So what are we supposed to get into our head? That we're completely dependent on God. We wouldn't have come into existence without God. We could not continue existing without God. How much we need God. When the penny drops, how dependent we are on God, how much we need God, then what automatically should sprout out of our hearts? If someone's giving you everything, what should you naturally feel?
Gratitude.
Gratitude. And then when your heart is overflowing with gratitude, then what will happen? You should want to do what?
Love.
Reciprocate.
Service, yeah, which is love, which is what love is, service. So you should naturally, so bhakti is a very natural process that comes when you have full knowledge. What is full knowledge? Knowing that Krishna is your father, he's your mother, he's your maintainer, he's giving you everything. You don't have a body without Krishna. You don't have a soul without Krishna. You don't have a family without Krishna. You don't have a house without Krishna. You don't have a job. You don't have health. You can't see. You can't talk. You can't hear. You get it? You know, it's everything. And then we should just be so overflowing with gratitude and appreciation and thanks, and just want to reciprocate by doing something for Krishna. He's doing everything for me. Now we should think, what can I do for Krishna? Now, this is where modern religions often get it wrong. Mostly modern religions, you go to the church, the mosque, the synagogue, the temple, and you go and do what? You ask God for something. But Dumbo, you know, he's already giving us everything. You don't need to go to a temple or mosque to ask. What we should go to the temple, the mosque, the synagogue, the church for is to ask for what? Not for something for us, because he's already giving everything to us, too much.
What service can we do?
Yeah, what can I do for you? We should go to the temple, say, what can I do for you? You've done everything for me up to this point. Now I've finally woken up, due to the mercy of my guru. I've finally woken up at how much you're doing for me. Now what can I do for you? You know, and that's bhakti. That's what bhakti is. So Prabhupada said that's pious, very good. You know, the people are going to God. That's very good. They're pious. They have some problem and they're going to God. God, please help me with this problem. But actually even more better is to realize that God automatically knows what our problems is. He knows what we need. You don't have to ask him for those things. He's already in our heart. He knows before you even have the need. He knows. You know, even, isn't it? Even before Gulshan's friend had the need to fix his car battery, Krishna already knew that, and he was already sending another Gulshan to fix the problem. Gulshan didn't even ask. Did you ask Krishna, Gulshan, please send me someone to fix my friend's battery? Krishna already knew that person was needed.
Yeah, that's right. You know, if we ask a father something, then what's the father and what's the son? If we do need to ask, father knows. You know?
Yeah, father knows, of course.
Yeah, but the child needs. So we shouldn't ask.
Shouldn't ask, yeah.
That's true.
I mean, you can ask. It's not the end of the world if you ask, but you don't need to ask. You know, if you have more knowledge, you realize that Krishna knows everything. You don't need to ask. See, if you might say, well, sometimes I'm not getting what I want. So then what's going on there? If you're not getting what you want, what does that mean?
The answer is no.
The answer is no. It's not good for you.
Yes.
Sometimes like that, the kids ask the parents, "Can I have this?" and the parent doesn't give. Oh, yeah, can I have a automatic machine gun? You know, and the father brother said, "No, you can't have it. You're not going to give it to you. Wait till you're 16."
You can't get it even then.
Yeah. Actually, like Gail wants a pistol, right?
Yeah, she got license now. I said, well, license.
It looks like she might get it. So it looks like she might get it. So Krishna's giving it to her.
Yeah, license not good enough. Like, you know, if any burglar comes there, you show them a license, he won't let you go. You have to have a pistol. Yeah. You can't just say, "Oh, okay, you got a license. Sorry, I go." No, you have to have a pistol. So she'll get.
Yeah. So if you want something or need something, you're not getting it. It's because Krishna knows it's not good for you. So then a devotee just lets it go. Okay, I wanted this. You know, I wanted 100-acre farm and I only got 6 acres. So that means 100 acres wasn't good for me and 6 was, you know, so, and that was the fact. We ended up with 6. Actually, I'm so glad that Krishna didn't give me 100 because I can't even look after 6. So yeah, Krishna knows better than us what we
Yes.
need. We think we know what we need, but we don't.
You didn't listen.
Hey?
I also told you. You don't listen.
Jayanti's saying Krishna speaks through her, she's saying.
Yes.
Some of the time, not all the time.
Well, look, put it this way. You said you are the father and she is the mother. Who listened to who? Mother listened to the father, isn't it? Earth is the mother nature. Krishna is the father. So
In the previous
father
yugas, I don't think Kali Yuga has gone the other way around.
you are the father and she is the mother. So she has to listen to you.
Yeah. Did you hear that?
Whatever.
In Kali Yuga, we're all rebels.
Aw.
See, she said no. See, that means rebel.
Any yuga, Krishna is Krishna. He is the father, no matter whatever yuga is. So
Yeah.
you are the father, she is the mother. Any yuga.
And then he says grandsire. Well, how can he be the father and the grandfather? Pita Maha. So Pita means father, and then it says Pita Maha, grandfather. So Krishna's saying he's the father and the grandfather. So how does that work? It means he's the father of our father. You get it? So we have a father, right? You know, Cliff Walker or whatever like that is our father. But Krishna's the grandfather. It means he's the source of even our father. So even if you look at it that way, like if you look, you have a father, right? And then your father has a father, that's the grandfather. And then that grandfather has a father, that's the great-grandfather. And keep going back. Keep going back. Eventually, where will you get to? Eventually, you'll get back to Manu, the father of mankind. And then who's Manu's father? Lord Brahma. Then it gets interesting. Who's the father of Lord Brahma?
It's in here somewhere.
It should be in your brain, not in the book. Prabhupada said that one time. One devotee said to Prabhupada asked the question, and the devotee said it's in the book. Prabhupada said that's not good enough. It should be in you, in your brain, not just in the book. So
the sun god,
Lord Brahma's father is Garbhodakashai Vishnu. So there was one lotus flower came from the navel, which is called Naba, came from the navel of Garbhodakashai Vishnu. So that's a gigantic Vishnu that lies down on the water that half fills the universe. Imagine each universe is like a gigantic football, and that football is half full of water. And on that water, this gigantic form of Vishnu, called Garbhodakashai Vishnu, is lying on a serpent bed called Anantasesha. So he's lying on Anantasesha. And where did all that water come from? That half fills the universe, you know?
The ocean.
Do we generate water from our bodies? What do we call that?
Sweat.
Sweat, Jayanti said. So yeah, when the sweat, Garbhodakashai Vishnu's sweat, this is how big he is. His sweat half fills the universe. That's how big he is. That's a lot of sweat, and that's how big he is. So he lies on that ocean, and then at a certain point after the universe is created, there's nothing in the universe at that point, and just him. And then a lotus flower comes out, opens up, and then Brahma is born. So Brahma is very interesting. He's the first child in the universe, and he has a father but no mother. He's the only one in the universe that has no mother. That's very unusual. So another name of Brahma is Swayambhu. Swayambhu. Swayambhu means self-born. It means he doesn't have a mother. He didn't come out of a mother. He's only produced from the father. No mother. So he's called Swayambhu. Means self-born. Like that. Another name of Brahma is Padmanabha. Padma means lotus, and Nabha means navel. So he's born from a flower from the navel of the Lord. So he's called Padmanabha, like that. So, if you trace things back, your ancestry, Krishna is the grandsire. He's the original ancestor. He's the original ancestor. People like, isn't it? They like looking back at the ancestry. You know, the family tree, isn't it? The family tree, right? People get interested in finding out where they come from, right? Their family tree. Ultimately, the ultimate family tree is coming from Vishnu. He's the father of everyone. He's the father of everyone. You know, the father of all human beings is Manu. Manu, actually, the English word man comes from the Sanskrit word Manu. Manu means the father of man. He's the first man. And he was born from the mind of Brahma. One day Brahma was thinking in a particular way that he wanted to procreate more species in the universe. And then the first human being was born. And that was Manu, Swayambhuva Manu. And then along with him, then his wife was born. So that was the first man. And the Christians will call that Adam and Eve, right? The Christians would say that's Adam and Eve. So the first man, like that. So that comes from Brahma, and the Brahma comes from Vishnu. So he's the grandsire. So Krishna is the grandsire. He's the original source of our lives. And then he says, I am the object of knowledge. The object of knowledge means, what do you want knowledge for? It's so dumb these days, isn't it? We have such stupid reasons why we get educated. You know, do you know what the main reason why what we want knowledge for these days? Johnny said very sadly to get a job, because she did that for 25 years of her silly life. She worked like an ass, you know, so she got, you know, what did you get? A BSc? No, what is it? BA? BSc. BSc. So she worked hard, you know, to get a BSc, you know, a piece of paper.
Followed by an MBA.
Followed by MBA. Wow, MBA, Masters of what? Business Association? Business Administration. So, and what was the purpose of all that knowledge? To get a job, as she said. And then what was the purpose of getting a job?
She did get a job in an insurance company.
To get money.
Yes.
To get money, you know. So it's such a dumb purpose. It's such a dumb purpose of knowledge.
But that dumb purpose actually helped us now.
Yeah. So then with that money, then I took that money and then we bought some land for Krishna. So we used it in Krishna's service. Otherwise, that money would have been a ticket to hell. You know, a ticket to hell. Like that. So, and raises
but I
edge.
still feel that money, I mean, see, there are so many devotees who, I mean, see, there's no doubt Krishna takes care of everybody.
Yeah.
Okay? However, there are devotees who struggle a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Okay, whatever their past karma or whatever.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's why they're struggling.
Not maybe, definitely.
But then if you see their life,
yeah,
they haven't had proper education, they never had a job, so they don't have any other option as well.
Not necessarily that's an obstacle. Some devotees do really well when they never had proper education and job.
Even some materialists also do very well. There's Bill Gates who
I know.
has a job.
Yeah. So that doesn't mean anything.
Crooks can also do well.
Doesn't mean anything.
But all
you got both cases, from no education, no job, doing well and not doing well, and the other side, having it all and still not doing well. So doing well. So yeah, it just depends on the karma more than the education and the job and so forth. But yeah, the real purpose of knowledge is to know Krishna, not just, you know, I've got a BSc, MBA and everything, and you know everything except for Krishna, and then you got no knowledge. That's called avidya. That's called ignorance. So let's look at the real purpose of knowledge. This is the verse that Prabhupada quoted more than any other verse. This is the most quoted verse in all the scriptures. It's easy to remember. It's 15:15. 15.15. 15th chapter, 15th verse. This is the most quoted verse of Prabhupada in any scripture.
I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas.
And of this verse, he didn't always quote the whole verse, but he would always quote definitely the second half. So the second half is where he says, by all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. So Krishna is the object of knowledge. He's the purpose of knowledge. The real knowledge means to know Krishna. If you don't know Krishna, then technically speaking, by this definition,
you don't
have any knowledge. You don't have any knowledge. If you don't know Krishna, if you know everything else except for Krishna, but by this definition, you don't have any knowledge. And if you know nothing else except for Krishna, then you have knowledge, so that's important. Do you know the life cycle of this insect in South Africa? No. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's not important. But yeah, if you don't know Krishna, that's a disaster because you have to come back. You have to come back again and again and again until what happens?
You know Krishna.
Until you know Krishna. And then you don't come back. So the real purpose of knowledge is to know Krishna. And then you get out of here and you live happily ever after. So that's real knowledge, And if by your so-called knowledge, which you get from school, university, your parents, and reading books and so forth, if by your so-called knowledge you think you don't need Krishna, you think there is no God, you think you are God, all this kind of rubbish, then you think science is God, you think the scientist is God, all this stuff, then you're completely ignorant, mate. That's just complete rubbish. So that is materialistic knowledge, and we talked about this with Narendra in the Sri Upanishad. There's verses about that, how material knowledge is actually the darkest ignorance, because the track that materialistic knowledge goes down, which is what we learn in modern day society at school and so forth, makes us more and more atheistic. More and more. I mean, my daughter has been through the school system more than my son, and she's more atheistic than my son. And I guarantee that's because of the education system, because he's spent less years getting educated. He's has more knowledge than her in terms of what reality is. She's more further away from reality, gone through the modern education system, which teaches them that the life comes from a big bang. There's no God, just a big bang. And that there's no great-great-grandfather. I mean, your great-great-great-great-grandfather was a monkey. That, your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was a monkey. So you get further away from the truth, the more you get this modern education, so-called knowledge. It's just cheating. It's just cheating. Yeah, so Krishna's saying that he compiled the Vedas. So not only he's the purpose of knowledge is to know Krishna, but he's the one that's giving us the knowledge. And also that, he's giving us the knowledge and he understands what real knowledge is. So we're very lucky if we can get this knowledge from Krishna himself, because Krishna, obviously, he knows what is the real knowledge. And then we've got to finish up, but just finish this. He says, I'm the purifier. So he's able to purify us because he's the most pure. He's the most pure. So Arjuna says this in the 10th chapter, text number 12 and 13. He says there 10, 12, and 13. Yep.
Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the abode truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me.
Yeah, so he says in this verse, Arjuna says his realization of Krishna is that he's the purest. So yeah, Krishna's the most pure. So we just look Bhakti Mala at 10th chapter, text 12 and 13, Arjuna's saying to Krishna that he's the purest, because it's mentioned in this verse that he's the purifier. So that's why we need to chant Hare Krishna, because the Hare Krishna mantra is Krishna, it's God. So when you're chanting Hare Krishna, you're with God. And if you're with God, what's going to happen to you? What's going to happen if you're right with God, if you're right next to God, if you're connected with God, what's going to happen to us? Even though I'm so sinful, so contaminated, so ignorant, if I get right close to God, right next to God, what's going to happen to me?
You got real knowledge from Krishna?
Yeah, you're going to get knowledge, you're going to get purified, all the sinful desires and reactions are going to go away, everything. All of our sinful desires, all the sinful reactions, all the ignorance, everything's going to get blasted away, you know, like that, just by being so close to Krishna, because he's so pure. He's so pure. There's one beautiful verse by Rupa Goswami that says that I am the lowest and you are the highest. I am a great fool and you are the greatest philosopher. I am the most sinful and you are the most saintly. And then it says, please purify this person that sometimes chants your holy name. Beautiful verse. I love that verse. You know, so if we chant the holy name, we'll get purified. Even though we're the lowest, Krishna's the highest. He'll lift us up. Even though we're the most ignorant, but he's the most intelligent. We'll get a brain, you know, and then even though we're most sinful, but he's the most saintly person, most pure. We'll get freed from all of our sins like that. So we want to always keep close to Krishna. And this is the best thing what we're doing by hearing about Krishna and chanting Krishna's names. We're always associating with Krishna and taking prasadam. Prasadam is also Krishna. So every day we take some prasadam. Every day we hear from Krishna and talk about Krishna and talk about his names, and we're always with him, and we'll get purified no matter how impure we are. It doesn't matter. And that's something the Brahmanas, the Pujaris, daily recite that verse. Did you learn that, Bhakti Mala? I hope you did, if you're a proper Brahmana. Om apavitra pavitro va savastan gadopiva yasmaret pundari kaksam sabaya bhyantara shuchi. And what that means is, whether you're pure or impure, whether you're clean or not clean, if you always remember the lotus-eyed Lord, Pundarikaksham, then you'll become pure. You'll become pure. So yeah, always, that said the essence of the Vedas. There's a verse that says, always remember Vishnu and never forget Vishnu. Sometimes you'll see a t-shirt with that, you know, Hare Krishna t-shirt, made in Vrindavan usually. It'll say, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So that's the essence to do that, to always remember Krishna, and we'll become pure. And then it says the syllable Om. So this sound, Om, is Krishna in sound. So there's no form associated with Om, right? It's a impersonal sound. Like Krishna, that's a name of a person, right? Krishna. And Rama, Nrsimha, they're personalities. It's the name of the personality. But Om, it's not a person. It's impersonal. So so this is even saying, this sound is the mantra the Mayavadis chant. So the impersonalists that don't believe that God is a person. So they don't believe in Krishna and Rama. They believe that God is just energy. Om. That Krishna here is saying that I am Om also. So even the Mayavadis are thinking that God has no form and he's just energy. But Krishna is saying I am that also. He's also Om. So indirectly, they're also connecting with Krishna by saying Om. And then he says, I am the Rig, the Sama, and Yajurvedas. So this is originally there was just one Veda. One Veda, I think that was the Atharva, wasn't it? Originally there was one Veda, and then Vyasadeva, who compiled all the Vedas, he divided it into 4. So there originally one Veda, and then to make it easier to understand, he broke into different divisions, they all deal with different subjects. So he broke it into 4. The Rig, Atharva, Yajur, and Sama. So 3 of them are mentioned here. So there's four Vedas like that. And the battery's going to die in a minute, but anyway, we've finished our time and finished the verse. So yeah, 4 different Vedas. And then Krishna says, I am that. And we read in 15:15 where he says that I compiled the Vedas. So actually, Vyasadeva, who compiled the Vedas, is an incarnation of Krishna. So he's actually Krishna himself. Krishna himself appeared in the form of Vyasadeva to compile the Vedas. So like that. So that is Krishna himself, yeah. So there's no escape, I'm afraid. There's no escape of Krishna. Krishna's everything, everywhere. He's your mother, your father, your maintainer. He's all the books that you read, everything, the sounds that you hear, everything, your body. And so there's no escape. So what we should do is just surrender. We should just surrender to Krishna, engage in devotional service, especially always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So lovely to be with you again. Does anyone want to say anything?